Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live session. I'm Lisa from Helper Choice, and we're really glad you're here with us today. Please share our live. Good evening, everyone. All right, so please share our live. Tonight, we'll be talking about something very important. So, how to deal with daily stress. Okay, hi, everyone. Please keep sharing our live. Our dear helpers, how are you feeling today? Are you tired, stressed, or maybe not okay? We know that every day, life isn't easy. So you take care of others, you work hard, you stay strong, but sometimes who take care of you? So today, this space is for you, a space where you can pause, breathe, and just be yourself. So we will be talking about dealing with daily stress. So, sharing simple ways how to cope and remind you that you are not alone, your feelings are valid, and it's okay not to be okay. So, stay with us or join the conversation. Feel free to share our live and feel free to as well drop your comments if you have any questions. Okay. We have a very special guest tonight. So, stay tuned, everyone. All right. So this session is especially for domestic workers who are working hard every day, often far from home, and managing a lot of responsibilities. So before we begin, comment your where you're watching from. Okay, are you watching from Hong Kong or the Philippines, Indonesia, or other parts of the country? Share this live with your friends and feel free to drop any questions you may have. All right, so I guess we can start. All right. Okay. So this session is brought to you by Helper Choice in collaboration with the Zubin Foundation, a organization dedicated to supporting migrant domestic workers, communities, and improving well-being. And today we're joined by a very special guest, Asha Sujit, counselor from the Zubin Foundation. She has extensive experience supporting individuals through stress, emotional challenges, and mental health concerns. So let me just pull in Asha. Hello, good evening, Asha. How are you feeling today?
I'm very excited to talk about a specific topic today. So let's start.
Okay. All right. Awesome then. Okay. So yeah. All right. Let me just pull it up real quick. There you go. Okay, so Asha, thank you so much for being here with us today. We're truly glad that you have to have you. Could you please introduce yourself and share more about the Zubin Foundation and the work that you do?
Okay, so my name is thank you Lisa for giving this opportunity for myself and for the Zubin Foundation. We are very glad to talk with you today. So my name is Asha. I'm one of the counselor working with the Zubin Foundation. So let me talk a brief introduction about Zubin Foundation. Zubin Foundation is an integrated service provider for Hong Kong's ethnic minorities or ethnic diverse population. It's a registered charity. So at the Zubin, we have various projects going on: adult mental health, talent development, women empowerment, children, focused on children, elderly, and capacity building. And I work with the Ethnic Minority Wellbeing Center. So it's an initiative of the Hong Kong government started in the year of 2023 and is operated by the Zubin Foundation. We provide counseling and mental health support services to ethnically diverse community of Hong Kong. And we have two offices. Currently, we operate mainly at Austin. So we provide one-to-one free counseling services for ethnically diverse communities in Hong Kong. We offer services in different language: Hindi, Urdu, Nepali, and English. And we can attend the counseling face to face or online, mainly on Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And limited slots are available after 6 p.m. and on Saturday morning time. So if anyone want to call or make an appointment, this is a number 96823100. You can contact directly and will register for counseling or to talk with a counselor. Yes, Lisa.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, you can screenshot this number for all of the viewers who would like to get in touch with the Zubin Foundation. All right. So,
Yes.
as mentioned by Asha, it's a one-on-one free counseling service for ethnically diverse communities in Hong Kong. Okay.
Yes.
So feel
Yes.
free to, I'm flashing that one in the screen as well and putting that one in our comments if you want to contact them directly.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, thank you, Asha, so much for the introduction. It's really inspiring to hear about the work you're doing with the Zubin Foundation.
Yeah.
So before we dive in, I love to ask everyone watching right now. Feel free to drop in the comments where you're tuning in from and how you've been feeling lately. Now, stress is something we all experience. I don't exclude myself, so especially with the daily challenges many domestic workers face. And today we're here to learn practical ways to manage. So, without further ado, I'll now hand it over to Asha to guide us through to today's topic, dealing with daily stress.
Okay. Okay, first of all, thank you for taking the time to join us today. We are here to talk about something very real, very personal, and often invisible: the daily stress experienced by foreign domestic helpers. So, as everyone knows, foreign domestic helpers plays an essential role in many households. You care for our children, support the elderly, manage our home, help families to function very smoothly. Yet behind the responsibilities and routines, many helpers I know carries a burden of emotional, mental, and physical stress that often go unspoken or unnoticed. Living and working in a foreign country is it's very challenging. Cultural differences are there, language barriers are there, homesickness, high expectation, limited privacy, financial pressures, and sometimes isolation, right? Over time, these daily stresses can build up and affect your well being. It will affect your relationships and job performance. So, today's webinar is not just about identifying stress, it's about understanding it, normalizing it, and we will learn some practical strategies how to cope it with stress in very healthy and empowering ways. So, where you are a domestic helper or a community member or whoever listening to this conversation or listening to this webinar, let's together learn some techniques how to handle the stress in an effective way. And before we go, why it matters? So there was a survey conducted with the academic support of University of Hong Kong, and they found out that many living workers report excessively long working hours and insufficient rest, contributing to stress, thereby decline their well-being. And also, there is a study conducted by the Helpers Choice together with the Enrich HK, and they have highlighted Most of the many of the majority of the I can say majority of the helpers are concerned about rest and sleep conditions, and it is affecting their mental well-being. Yes. So our goal is to create a safe and respectful space where experience can be acknowledged and solution can be explored. By the end of the session, I hope, you will walk away with greater insights, greater useful tools, and a stronger sense that one has to navigate daily stress alone in a very beautiful manner or in a healthy manner, I can say. Okay, so let's begin with what is stress. Stress is something everyone experiences. It is a body's and mind's natural reaction when we face a demand, challenge, or threat. There is no one in this world who never encountered with stress. So, in our daily life, especially for for a domestic worker, there are certain stresses which create stress in their life. It can be physical, like illness, lack of sleep. It can be emotional, something like conflict, worries. It can be environment, over workload, lack of private space, and social factors like financial pressure, relationship problems. There are so many things. Things which cause stress are called stresses. And stress is not always bad. In small amount, it helps us to stay alert and focused. But too much stress, especially for a long time, can harm health. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yes. So, broadly speaking, there are two types of stress we can say acute stress and chronic stress. Acute stress are like short term stress. It happens suddenly and goes away quickly after the situation passes. For example, if you are arguing with someone, or if you are going to attend an interview tomorrow, you will feel stressed, and you will feel like palpitation, your heartbeat is increasing, you are sweating, you feel tight, you are breathing fastly, and this is a classic stress response. Once the threat is gone, the body returns to normal. On the other hand, chronic stress means it's a long term stress that continues for weeks, months, or for years. It happens when stresses do not go away. For example, ongoing financial problems or difficult working conditions or some family conflict where you are encountering the problems or encountering with those people for long term, maybe for 1 year, 2 year and long. And what is the effect of long term stress or chronic stress? You will feel constant fatigue, you will get headaches, you will start getting problems with your sleeps, anxiety, depression, high blood pressure, weakened immune system, you will get sick very frequently, and so on. So, chronic stress keeps the body in alert mode for too long, which damage our health. I hope it's clear for everyone. Yes, let's go to the next slide. So I will just explain in a brief way how stress happens in our body or what is the physiology of stress. Okay, so actually stress is our body's alarm system. It's like a fire alarm system in a building. So when our brain thinks that we are in a danger or when we are encountering a danger, it turns on its survival switch. So, a part of the brain called the amygdala acts like a smoke detector. So, in a house when there is a smoke, fire alarm will ring and it will alert all the other people, right? Same like that. So, when it senses danger, it sends a message to another part of the brain called the hypothalamus. So, hypothalamus is the control center. So it will send a message to your body, hey, something is wrong, get ready. So your body is getting into a fight or flight response. So your nervous system will turn on, your adrenal glands, the glands will start to release some hormones called adrenaline, noradrenaline, so many other hormones. And because of these hormonal hormones, what will happen? Our heart start to beat faster, our breathing will become faster, muscle tighten, pupil got dilated. We start getting digestive issues. We want to go to the bathroom very frequently. Sometimes we want to vomit, or we feel very tired and we just want to run away from the situation. So your body is preparing to fight the danger or run away or react quickly. And these all things happen very fast in seconds. And The third steps is like when if the stress continues, the body releases another hormone called cortisol or the stress hormone. So when the cortisol is inside your body, it is a mechanism to help you to deal with the stress. It gives you extra energy, raises your blood sugar, keep you alert, and it helps you to survive difficult situations for a short time. And if cortisol is in your body for long term, it will create so many issues like headaches, body pain, anxieties, depression, and so on. When the danger passes or when the situation goes, all our hormones level go down, heart rate returns to normal, muscle relax, body calms. This is healthy and normal, and we appear. But if it is not going down, that means if the stressor is still present, all these hormones are secreted again and again and again. It causes physical, emotional, behavioral issues in us. And most of the time, we are not aware about. We don't know. We will most of the time our stress can be indicated as physical symptoms. For example, certain people will say, "I cannot rest properly. So many thoughts are coming. I cannot. When I sleep, I'm getting so many thoughts." Or I'm getting sick very easily nowadays, or I'm having frequent headaches, or my shoulders are paining, my stomach is having some trouble, I cannot eat, gas is forming very frequently, or I feel very tired even though I'm taking rest, even though I'm sleeping in the morning, I don't feel energetic. These are the sum of the, but we don't know what is happening within us. So these are some stress response because our body is designed for short emergencies, not to deal with constant pressure. So, in a very short summary, what I can say that when a stress comes, it activates our brain system, and the body reacts. Hormones start to secrete. Longer stress hormones like cortisol will come up. Short term stress, it's helpful. Long strain stress, it's harmful. Yes. Let's go to the next slide. So this is how stress affect various part of the organ. So it can affect the brain, because we will get headaches, difficulty in concentrating, we feel very anxious, our muscles feels like pain, stiff, tension, for example the frozen shoulders or neck pains like that. And immune system, the low it will the stress, frequent stress or long term stress will decrease your immunity. You will be frequently ill, your heartbeat will be very high, high blood pressure. Then stomach, you will feel nauseous or digestive problems or irritable bowel syndrome. Or mainly sleep, you won't get sleep properly. Either you won't get sleep, or you won't get a continuous sleep, or you won't get a deep sleep. Yes. So some of the signs, this I just mentioned, but I will just mention little more in detail. So some of the signs of stress. So signs of stress can be seen in physical ways, emotional ways, cognitive ways, and behavioral ways. Physical signs like headaches, fatigue, muscle tension, sleep problems, etc. Emotional signs like irritability, we don't know why we are getting angry, we don't know, we get rotated very quickly, maybe for sounds, small noises. Maybe someone is asking you, how are you feeling? We will feel emotional, we will be like crying, or we will get upset, we will feel anxious, and we will be very anxious about nothing, always thinking about something which is going to happen in the future. And mood swings, some days will be happy, sometimes will be sad, we don't know, the mood swings here and there. And feeling overwhelmed, don't know for what reason, but I feel very overwhelmed. Then cognitive science means cognitive things means something related to our brain, our thoughts, everything. We cannot concentrate in anything. It will affect our job, our performance, and and we cannot concentrate in one things. We will forget things very quickly. Lot of negative thoughts will come. And what about the behavioral science? Because of these all things, it will change our appetite. It will lead to social withdrawal, procrastination. Like, oh, today I'm not a, today I'm not in a mood to clean the things. Okay, I will do it tomorrow. And tomorrow is like, oh, today I feel very tired, I will do it next day. And increase the use of substances, because sometimes when there is no one to talk, or there is no one no one living together with us, or there is no one to communicate our issues, most of the people will depend upon alcohol or smoking or some sorts of drugs. So the basic reason for that can be stress. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. Yes. So I have written few common stresses for if foreign domestic workers. You can also comment some of the stresses. Okay, this is according to my viewpoint. These are, you can also comment. We will read it out. Okay, so we can divide it into two types. One is work related stresses, and the other one is social and personal stresses. Okay, so stresses means things which cause stress. So work-related stress means maybe long working hours and limited breaks, heavy workloads and high expectation from the employer. Then sometimes power imbalance with the employer, unclear boundaries, job insecurities, financial pressure, discrimination, unfair treatment or abuse, or termination without any notice, or so many other things. And social and pressure, personal stresses, we can say that separation from family and social isolation, lack of privacy and personal space, language and cultural barriers, limited access to healthcare or legal system, financial crisis. These are some of the things which I have noted down. And if you have additional any comments or points, you can mention it.
All right.
Okay. So now we will be moving to how we respond to the stress. So each person's stress response is different because each individual is different. The way we look at an event is different. The way we perceive is different. The way biologically, genetically, psychologically, culturally we have developed is different. So each person is different and their stress response is different. So some people will feel homesick and guilty. Some people will say, "Oh, I want to go back to my home. I miss my home a lot." Some people will think it's guilty. I love my children are there, my family is there. I'm here. I feel very guilty of not taking care of my children or not taking care of my family. Then persistent worries. You will be worried about your work. I don't know how to deal with all these things. I don't know how I will find time for myself. I don't know how I will contact my family. I don't know how I will make them understand about my situation. And certain people will have negative thoughts and feelings of uncertainty. Negative thoughts like, oh, I feel worthless. What I am doing here? I think I am not valued. I think my life is not no meaning. And feeling of uncertainty. I don't know what is the next situation. I don't know how it is going to end. I don't know frequent fights happening in my with my employer, or I cannot deal with the children here. I don't know. It's a feeling of uncertainty. Then feeling anxiety, sad or irritable, like getting worried very quickly, getting upset very quickly, talking very rudely, or when we contact our family, when they ask something, we cannot talk with them in with love or care. We will just like, oh, you people cannot understand me. You are just living there. You just want our money or something like that. And low mood and lack of motivation. We don't have a motivation to do anything. Oh, tomorrow I want to cook something new, but I am not in a mood to cook. Or I want to clean the things, but I'm not in a mood to do things. Then difficulty in asserting needs or taking rest. Okay, so this is one of the stress response, because when you are in frequent stress and when we feel like there is a feeling of hopelessness and helplessness will come, and we feel that whatever I do, there won't be any change in the situation, then why should I take the effort? So what you will do, you will start to suffer. Like, okay, there is no rest time. Okay, even though I want rest time, I don't know how to ask for my rest time. I don't know whether I need to take rest. I don't know whether I need to go for break or my holidays. Like, then sleep disruption. One main cause of sleep disruption is stress, because when we go when during the daytime you will be busy with so many works, so the thoughts won't come. But at night, when you go to the bed, everything is silent. There is no more distraction. So the thoughts comes. It starts to attack you. So you will be start thinking about the things happened in the past. You will be thinking about worrying about the things going to happen in the future. You will be thinking about unnecessary things. Your sleep is disturbed, and also you will start to do emotional reasoning, like, oh, I am bad, that's why every day I am getting scolded by my employer, or I am not worth enough, I am not enough to handle all these things, that's why I feel like I am not accepted, or they people are not understanding me, that's why I'm in a different culture house, or their situation is different, that's why. So these all will lead to sleep disruption, and you feel always tired, physical exhaustion. If you are eating properly, if you're sleeping, you feel like burnout, you feel like, oh, something is not good with me. So these are the some of the typical. I'm not telling everyone will experience everything. Each person's response is different. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to that,
Yeah,
move to
I
that.
agree with you. I agree with
Yeah.
you, Ash. Yeah, so yeah, thank you for sharing, Ash. I think a lot of people can really relate to this, especially for domestic workers, like the feeling homesick, guilty word all the time. These are the very real situation experience, especially when you're far from family,
Home.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
correct.
Yeah. Yes. Why recognition matters? So it's like, oh, we are thinking like, if you think like, oh, I am just a domestic helper, why should I think about my stress? Why should I recognize my stress? I should take some techniques, or I should learn something to deal with this thing. But it's very important. Early recognition allows timely coping and help seeking. And stress reactions are normal. It's not something bad, or it's not something to be shamed about. And if you are aware about, yes, I am a person who is having stress and I don't know how to handle my stress, you will have the willingness to use the support system. There are a lot of support system in Hong Kong where you can get support. And if you are healthily, you can do your work healthy, because a family trusts you. You are managing a big family by yourself, so your mental health matters. Yes, stress is normal, but managing is important. So now we are going, so I believe you understood about what is stress, the physiology of stress, stress responses and all. So let's see how we can manage the stress. So first of all is like, having stress is not an issue. Everyone is having stress, even the you as a foreign domestic worker or an employer or a professional, everyone have stress. That is normal. And we all have, when we feel stressed, we express it in different ways. We feel angry, we feel sad, we feel tired and everything. That is also, having emotions is also normal. But expressing emotions in a healthier way is very important. If you are having some emotions and you are suppressing it for long term, it will create more issues. Healthy expressions of stress or healthy expressions of emotions will improve your relationship, and it will build resilience. Resilience means the ability to bounce back to the previous situation. And when we share our feelings very calmly and respectfully, our body relaxes, stress hormone decreases, and we feel more in control. Healthy emotional expression also strengthen our relationship with the employer. It will improve the understanding and reduce misunderstanding and resentment. It will improve your sleep, boost confidence, and prevents physical symptoms like headache, fatigue, and often come. And if you are often holding the emotions, it will cause long-term effect. Like it will affect your overall well-being. So how I can express my emotion? So most of the time we feel irritated, we feel sad, we cry, we shout and all, but we don't know what is happening with us. The first step is to identify what I am feeling. So, when you are having some uneasiness, when you feel stressed, be calm, sit down, and think what makes me feel, oh, what is happening in me? What is the feeling I am having? Whether I am sad, I'm angry, I'm upset, and express it in using I statement. I feel upset because there is an issue happened, or I feel sad when my mother said something like about me, something happened with my mother, or I feel confused when my employer said about some job. Become, identify the feelings, express it, you can write it down, or you can use it any verbally, you can say, you can write it down, and choose a calm and appropriate time to talk with the employer or those who are creating stress on you, and practice other stress management techniques. We will discuss what are the some other stress management techniques. So we are having relaxation exercises that we are going to practice in in the coming minutes. Then take a break. So if you are feeling very angry, we have a tendency to shout back, or we have a tendency to fight. We have a tendency to solve the situations immediately, right? So most of the times it won't help. So when you are having, this is going in a wrong direction, or I'm going to burst out, take a break, like, oh, give me 5 minutes, I will come back. Or just tell, I'm not in a good mood to talk about the situation, can we talk later? So use some calm, respectful words, and take a break from the situation. Then seek support. You can talk with your family members, you can talk with your friends, or if you are going to some church or some other institutions, there will be someone who you can trust, and there are professional counselors, psychotherapists, you can talk with them. Then there are some cognitive strategies like positive self-talk, reframing the thoughts, and something like that. Then proper health routine, like going to sleep at correct time, rest at correct time, eating food at correct time, then connecting with family and friends. Go out and enjoy your holidays. I know a lot of domestic helpers or aunties, they won't go out, they don't want to go out, they just want to sit inside their room and just lay down, they feel like, oh, this is enough. But no, just go out, because you are getting a day off, and go out, enjoy some fresh air, just roam around, connect with your friend, have some food. And I know this is very expensive for some people, every week going out, but try to just go out for 1 or 2 hours and come back. Then, as I said, seek professional help, because there are therapists, counselors to support you when you are stressed. Yeah. So now we are going to see, I'm going to teach you some methods which you can use in your daily life and anywhere to practice. Okay. So first one is box breathing. So box breathing, it slows and regulates the breath, it lowers our heartbeat, decreases physiological arousal, reduces anxiety, and improves emotional control, improves focus and cognitive clarity, and increases our resilience. So it's very powerful, simple relaxation technique that aim to return breathing into normal rhythm. Okay, so can we start? Can we do?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so this technique is also known as resetting your breath or four square. You can see there are four square, right? So if you can google on breathing, you can find many other helpful resources as well, and there even some diagrams that can be helpful to know what is this, and you can listen to some videos and you can practice it every day. So from now I will explain it and we can practice it together. Okay, let's begin. So just imagine about a square with four square have four sides, right? Yes. So
Yes.
you can gently close your eyes. Okay, try to imagine a box while you are doing it, and try to keep repeating that cycle over and over. Ready? You can find a comfortable position, you can sit, you can stand or lay down. So let's go. So starting from the left corner of the box, inhale slowly, take a deep breath. One, two, three, four. Hold it. One, two, three, four. Exhale. One, two, three, four. Hold it. One, two, three, four. Again, inhale. One, two, three, four. Hold it. One, two, three, four. Exhale. One, two, three, four. Hold it. One, two, three, four. Again, inhale. One, two, three, four. Hold the breath. One, two, three, four. Exhale. One, two, three, four. Hold. One, two, three, four. And so on. If you want to try, you can try. I will give you 30 seconds. Anyone need to try or have any doubts, you can ask later. So it's very beautiful technique. And when you feel very emotional, these techniques should be used when you feel very emotional, so it can control your emotions. It's not like after everything happened, if you go and do this, might be effective, but whenever it is, you are triggered, whenever you feel emotional, if you can do this thing, it will lower your emotional intensity. Yes. Yes. So next one is one another technique we are going to do is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. It's very easy and can be done at any time. Whenever you feel you are becoming distressed, try to make a moment to focus on each of your senses. We are going to focus on our sense organs and try to come up with the following number of things you notice. Okay? So let's do that. Yes. Let's start it with three slow breath. Take a deep breath. Inhale. Just hold for a few seconds and breathe out. One more. Breathe in. Hold it for 3 seconds or 4 seconds. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe in. Hold it for 4 seconds and breathe out. So now I want you to look around and notice five different things. Just notice five different things. It can be a table, a flower, or whatever. Just look at it and see five different things. Yes. The next one is touch and feel four different things around you. Just touch and feel whether it is hard, it is soft, slippery. Just touch and feel four different things. Okay. The next one is listen to three different sounds. It can be the sound of aircon or children speaking or traffic or whatever it is. Listen to three different sounds. Okay, then smell two different things. It can be your perfume, your coffee mug, or anything around you. Smell two different things and feel it. Just feel it. And the last one is taste something. If you have anything near to you, just take it.
Okay, I
Just
take my.
yeah, okay. Just take the first little bit. Don't swallow. Keep it in the mouth. Don't swallow. Keep it in the
Mm,
mouth. Yeah,
mm,
the mouth. Feel the taste.
mm-hmm, mm,
Slowly take the first swallow. Slowly swallow.
mm, okay.
Okay. So let's end this with some breath. So we are going again. We are going to do some breathe.
Practice,
Take a
practice.
deep breath. Oh, okay. Okay. So you remind yourself you are safe. And at the end of that three exercise, grounding exercise, Just remind yourself that you are safe. I am sound. This is to ground yourself into the present. Okay? Okay.
Okay.
The next one is very beautiful, very simple technique which we can do in our daily life to manage this stress. That is practice gratitude. We know everyone's life, some days will be very beautiful, some days will be very hard. Some days we will have so many things to laugh, some days we have so many things to cry, right? So
Mhm.
practicing gratitude involves intentionally focusing and appreciating the positive aspect of life to improve the mental and physical well-being. Even though thousand things there are in our life which makes us cry, we are focusing on three or four things which will makes our life beautiful. So a gratitude journal, you can use it. It's a personal record. It can be, you can write it on your notebook or in any app. There are so many apps available, or you can write it in anywhere you can use it. You can and describe things for which you are thankful for. It will boost your mental health. It will increase the positivity and mindfulness. So I will say that, for example, I will say, so think about, list three things that happened today that brought you joy or comfort. Before going to sleep, you can think about, yeah, today was a difficult day. Today we had visitors. Today the kids were very cranky. The employers came very late. So many things is going on, and at home my children are sick. They are asking for some money, or they didn't they are there are some fights happening between me and my husband. So many things are happening in the background, but before going to sleep, just think about three things which make my day. Maybe in the morning you gave a bath to the child and she kissed you. That's a beautiful thing, right? Or today you cooked something and it was very tasty, or you went out with the children and you had a lovely evening. So think about and list things which happened that brought you joy and comfort on that day. And record unexpected, small or surprising positive. Or sometimes you went outside, someone who walked against you, smiled at you, and say good evening. So it's very unexpected, right? We are not expecting them to say good evening and all, and we feel very happy. And just write it down and and see how much it will make us. It will increase our well-being. It will improve our positive emotion, and it will decrease our stress. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. So it's a
Yeah.
time for Q&A. And also I
Yeah.
want to discuss, there are so many other techniques which you can use. I'm not telling these are the only techniques because of the limitation of the time, and we need constant practice and all. We discussed only few. If anyone need constant support, if anyone need individual attention and all, they can come for counseling to Zubin Foundation, and we are here to support you.
Okay. I will flash the contact number later again.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Asha. That was very, very insightful discussion. Now, I would like to hear from you, our audience. What are the common sources of your stress or experience in your daily work? You can comment you can share your answers or your comments. We're reading them live. You can also tell us how you usually handle stress while working. So yeah, there you go. Let me see. I think we have some questions already here from our audience.
Ah,
Yeah,
great.
but for that, yeah. While we are waiting for others to like comment the questions, Asha, we have a few questions that many people relate to. Um, yeah, how can we like effectively communicate our stress and set boundaries with employers? This is actually relatable to the domestic workers.
Yeah, actually, this is like little bit difficult, tricky question. Okay, but let's see how I can answer this in a proper way. Okay, the first one is like setting boundaries about working hours. Before you start your job, everyone should talk about that, setting boundaries. Or after you start your workplace, also you can say that in a very polite or very understanding way, after 9 p.m., unless it is not urgent, I need to rest so I can work very well the next day. So if they ask you to do something late at night, you can say, "Can I do this tomorrow morning?" If you can say it very calmly and consistently, and always use neutral language. You like don't make them feel that you are in a mode to challenge them or to you are in an angry mode, like you make me tired, you always give me more work. Instead of that language, you can say that I notice I'm working more than the agreed hours, I need rest. And when you are feeling overwhelmed or when you are feeling stressed, you can clearly mention it using I statements like, I feel tired today because I was working for more than 11 hours. Or I haven't had any rest this month, or something like that. And focus on work performance. Keep the conversation very professional, not emotional. Instead of saying, I am exhausted, I am stressed, you
Mm.
can say something like, I want to continue doing my job, but I'm feeling very tired with the current schedule. Can we review my rest hours? So the tone, the expression of the emotions, setting the boundaries, everything matters. Okay, and sometimes I know when your employer is very strict, or you afraid of being terminated, or you feel like they will withhold your documents and everything, I want to say that your safety comes first. Okay, so in that case, document your hours very quietly, keep copies of your contract, know your rights as an employee, and talk to some NGOs or support groups, because boundaries are important and safety is the most important. And being grateful doesn't mean accepting unfair treatment. Supporting your family doesn't mean destroying your health. If you collapse from stress, no one benefit. So don't feel that whenever you feel stress, you have to open up and talk. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Asha. If you clap some stress, no one will really benefit to that. Yeah.
True.
Okay. Next question is that can you share a real life example of someone improve their life by managing stress? Something like you've encountered before? What?
Okay. Maybe we are having counseling sessions with domestic helpers before, and I have a client. She's having severe sadness, overwhelmed with with continuous duty, and she has to work with two different families. And she came here for support. And when we talked, due to the stress, she started to get negative thoughts. She started to withdraw from friends, withdraw from family, started to affect her family communication also. She's always crying, not motivated to work and all. And we started to work again. We teached her coping mechanisms. We teached her how to deal with the daily stress, how to create healthy boundaries, how to improve family communications, and how to challenge your negative thoughts and so on. And after a few sessions, maybe 8 or 9 sessions,
Mm-hmm.
she started to feel much improved. And yeah, she's doing healthy now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's really nice to hear
Yeah.
that she was able to recover from that really stressful
Yeah.
moment in her life. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I think we have one question coming from the audience. I think it's like similar to what you just discussed a while ago.
Okay.
I think this is a stressor. So coworker from Meds Onyo, coworkers acting more than like a boss. These are some questions. Why some helpers prefer to terminate their contract? So I think this is something that stress him or stress her.
Coworkers acting more like a boss. There are some reasons why some. Yeah, of course, because we all are human beings. We have different emotions. We have different personalities, and we are dealing with various people. No, so we are
Mhm.
not dealing with machines. We are dealing with people. So it's
It's
natural to have disagreements. It's natural to have fights, arguments, and all. And the success is where we can deal with all these things and go ahead. Yeah,
okay. Yeah. So this is
healthy.
very normal in everyday life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you are a domestic worker, you are having a stress. No, Everyone is having stress in their own way, but you are having more stress because you are living in different country, away from your people. There is no one to talk, and you are
Mhm.
always busy with so many multiple works, and the rest time is very less. These are some of the additional factors which increase your stress. So
Yeah.
we have to learn how we can manage our stress, how we can learn resilience and all. Yes.
Yeah, that's why it's really important to like go out after
Go out.
a long week of working. Yeah, I agree
Very
with you. What you
important.
said a
Very
while ago.
important. Go out.
Very,
Go out. And set your working hours. After 9, I mean, I don't know what is your working hours and all. After an period, just go and get some sound sleep. Yeah, using social media is really important, but set limits for that. Don't sit in the social media for long. We are unaware of the time is consumed by the social media, right? So
yeah.
after a long hours only we will become, oh, it's 2 o'clock, so I need to sleep now. So
And
be
I'm quite
mindful,
guilty on that part.
be mindful about
Yeah,
the time you spend on social medias and all. So it's
yeah,
like it will help us. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I think I'm quite guilty. I'm guilty on that part, Asha.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's the only. I think we have some questions, but I think this is like related to helper choice. Some are asking how
Uh,
to apply, but this is actually a different. Yeah, we have different life for the registration and everything, but this
oh,
one is dedicated to um, daily stress. So we will be having another live for that and for your questions. So I think we're all good. Okay, so before we end, here's a reminder, it's okay to feel tired. It's okay to ask for help. We have the Zubin Foundation. Let me just flash again the screen. Okay, Asha.
yes. So if anyone want to make an appointment, you can call in this number 96823100. We are working from Monday to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And limited slots are available after 6 p.m. and on Saturday mornings. I know it's difficult to make time for you as a I mean domestic helper, but
Mhm.
there are helpers who are coming for support. So discuss with your employer, make at least 1 hour per week for yourself. Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
We are here for you. Yeah, we are here for you.
Okay, and yeah,
So this
go
is the
ahead.
QR code. You can scan the QR code and just give me a feedback about the today's session. And if you can drop your number also, if you want to, if you want us to contact you, we will be contacting you, and we can discuss. If you want to see whether what is the issue you are having, and if you have any confusion about what is counseling, how counseling can support us, that also we can answer it. So please drop. I mean, please fill it so I can our office will contact you and will clarify your doubts.
Okay, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Asha.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your daily responsibilities, our domestic workers. So, thank you so much, Asha and the Zubin Foundation, for this very meaningful session. Yeah, for our audience, if you found this helpful, share this video, tag a friend, or follow Helper Choice and the Zubin Foundation for the support and helpful content. I'm going to comment their page as well in the comment section. You can like and follow their main page to get to get help or some insightful content coming from their page. Yeah, anything that you'd like to say, Asha, before we end
Oh,
the.
thank you, Helper's Choice, for giving us this wonderful opportunity to talk about a very important topic. Or also before I also thank my aunties. I have two aunties. I thank them because they are taking care of my family, my kids, so that I can help other domestic helpers today. So I
Wow.
thank them also. Yes, dear aunties, you are very important part of our life. So don't think that you are a separate one. Don't think that you are considered as something lower or not important. No, you are very important to us. So take care of your mental health. We are here to support you. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a lovely night.
All
Good.
right. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so much, Asha. And we hope to see you again in the
Okay,
next
sure, sure, sure.
time.
Okay, we'll
All
come
right.
back with another topic. Thank you, Liz.
Thank
Okay,
you. Have
bye.
a great day to you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Make your breakfast, man.